Welcome to the capital of the ancient world. I've thoroughly enjoyed putting this video together. I visited Rome 5 times over 4 decades. I'm always happy to visit this amazing place. In this video, we'll take you on a bus tour of Rome that will get you up close and personal with this busy city. I'll also take a deeper look at the must-visit locations. Sit back, enjoy the journey as we explore one of the great cities of the world.
So let me welcome you to Rome, the Eternal City. It is an amazing series of historical eras. We're going to have the chance to experience the major ones over the next few days, but it was the Caput Mundi, the head of the world, and Mediterranean area for many centuries. And at the fall of the Roman Empire, it was the popes who rebuilt the city, putting churches up over the tombs of the martyrs and saints, and making Rome a Christian destination where pilgrims came from all over the world to pray on the tombs. And here you can see one of the entrances to the shopping mall built by the Emperor Trajan in his form. So the Romans had ways of shopping that we have inherited to this day. And on the roundabout here, on the far side of it, is some old blood by Caius Sextius, that pyramid. It's had a beautiful cleaning operation, so it's very impressive driving by it today, very close to the walls of St. Peter, to the walls of the old city, the Aurelian walls, dating back to 27 AD. Now, climbing up to the top of the hill, we're going to be rewarded by this beautiful, immense palace known as Il Quirinale, simply. And there is a fountain in the front of it, which has the 2 stars, Castor and Pollux. I say stars, they were very highly regarded in Rome because they had helped the Romans win an important battle. And they're still statues from antiquity, but placed here in a more modern version. And if you keep looking out, you'll see a lovely view over the city. And over the door here, where the flags are flying, you'll see St. Peter and St. Paul. And 2 policemen outside. When you look through that arch there, somebody else has just come out now. Man was let's hope the lorry won't be in our way. If you look in there, you should see one of the Corazzieri. You see him there with the big helmet, the brass. So we're passing by the district of the ministries, and this road is empty to take the... Sorry, we missed the turn. We should have gone left there. Sorry, I was taking the water and I got distracted. Okay, so we go and see the Piazza Repubblica and then we come back.
Well, what's the oval, the round one here?
Now, this is a very interesting building. It's the Church of St. Bernard, but it's actually part of the old city baths built by Diocletian. What did she say? So, we were just saying that the Italian troops broke into the city to take the city for Italy from the Pope, and the Pope was not a bit happy about that. He retired into the Vatican and declared himself a prisoner. What was your sat-nav telling you to do there?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay. Sorry, we should have turned that, but it's not a problem. To get back, that's Diocletian. It said that he used 10,000 soldiers to build his baths, and they were all martyred at the end of the building. So these are part of the structure here. There was gymnasiums outdoors. Yes, and this was the very end of the persecutions of Christians, as you know. And Michelangelo created a beautiful church inside the ruins of the colonnade on the right. The colonnade actually represents the original exedra, or semicircular portico outside, which would have, maybe we'll do an extra turnaround if people want to take photos. What do you think? And it's very historic because this is the church now of Our Lady of the Angels and the Martyrs, and all that is the original Roman brickwork that Michelangelo left as intact as possible. And it's a very imposing church inside on a great scale. And it's where the famous Millennium organ is, the one that was given to Pope John Paul II at the beginning of our era. And in the centre, the fountain is based around Neptune, and you've got the Nereids as well. These are the water nymphs, and they were well-known singers at the time. So here we can see on our left the Porta Pinciana, which was the special gate for leaving the city on this side of the city. In fact, they called it the Federico Fellini space. It's a largo, it's really just a space, it's not even a piazza. And again, the walls are very impressive here. This emperor realized that the immunity of Rome itself as a city was really at the very end. And it's a great place to see the sun go down in Rome because you're looking due west and you can see beyond the hills. So I just want to show you this little portion of the park here.
Oh, look at the kids.
Look at the children on their school outing, and of course this is the time of year, particularly for the Italians, because they will finish school with less than a month. They've about 2 to 3 weeks left. They stop after the first week of June. So there's Goethe, and he was a great writer about Italy and the ancient world of Rome and of Greece. Now, like Lord Byron, also Shelley and Keats came to Rome, and Keats sadly died here. He was aged only 25 years. Such a tragedy. He died of tuberculosis. Okay, so now we're back to our walls, and here we want to make sure we get onto the right road to bring us back. And we reached the home of Queen Margherita of Savoy, the first queen of Italy, and the most famous pizza is called after her, which is the Margherita, and it's in the 3 colors. So you have the red for the tomatoes, the white for the cheese, the green for the basil.
So our
And it's a tricolour.
guide in Pompeii said the first one was made down in Pompeii.
Yes, well, I know it's from that part of the world, I wouldn't be able to say, but they said actually Pompeii, not Naples. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Naples won't be happy.
Wow.
I was screwed.
A lot of these things. And now these trees are beautiful, but in behind there, and I don't know if you'll get a chance to see it, was the Fountain of the 3 B's, is the one who was part of the entourage of the Baroque period, the 17th century, worked together on this. Moderno and Borromini and Bernini, but they did not unfortunately see eye to eye about everything. But the palace turned out beautifully. It's now an art gallery, and there's still one heir to the family throne, and she's called Prince. What would be a little bit ambiguous, we've got 2 river gods, the Tiber and the Aniene, one of its major tributaries. with two nymphs. The two nymphs, they're female figures representing. And so the Viminal Hill and the Quirinal, the Viminal and the Esquiline were three ridges of land, and we're just coming now to one of the great churches of Rome. So the four churches presided over by Rome are this one, which is the which is the main one dedicated to Mary in the city.
The Basilica of St. Mary Maggiore is the oldest Marian shrine not only in Rome but in the whole West. According to a legend, Mary is said to have appeared in 352 to Pope Liberius and a wealthy man named John Patricius. She invited them to build a church on a spot where snow had fallen, although it was midsummer. Founded in 432, the basilica houses what is believed to be a relic of the manger in which the infant Jesus was laid in Bethlehem. The basilica contains several series of remarkable mosaics and the tombs of 7 popes.
Yes.
So here's one of the best views of the Colosseum because it is the side that is the original. You'll see on the other side the outer rings fell and you've lost all of that beautiful carved stone. So this is a very fine view. 2/5 are supposed to have survived only, and it was built in 8 years. And on the upper floors there was white marble statues in the arches, and you'll see that.
The Colosseum was begun under the Roman Emperor Vespasian between 70 and 72 AD. It was completed and was dedicated in 80 AD by Titus, Vespasian's son and successor. In typical Roman form, the arena was paid for with the plunder from Titus's sacking of Jerusalem in AD 70, and it was built by enslaved Jews from Judea. The Colosseum was the largest amphitheatre in the ancient world. The arena was nearly 50 metres high and over 100 metres long and held about 50,000 spectators. You can see today the white seats there that were reserved for the senators and guests of honour. The Colosseum was free to all Roman citizens. It played an important political function in entertaining the masses. There are many different events held, from animal hunts, gladiator fights to a naval battle that turned the area into a giant pool. There are also records of executions performed here for over 400 years. Fights, bloodbaths and deaths were normal here. Walking around the Palatine Hill is really lovely, because you can get to look down on the Forum, back to the Colosseum. You can see over to the Victor Emmanuel, big cathedral, big building there. The Palatine Hill is considered to be the birthplace of the Italian capital and is believed to have been inhabited since the year 1000 BC. During the Republican period, Roman citizens belonging to the upper class settled on the Palatine Hill and built sumptuous palaces, of which important traces are still preserved today. The Palatine Hill is worth visiting on its own because of its importance and the beautiful views of the city, including the Circus Maximus and the Roman Forum. The Roman Forum is the heart of ancient Rome. It's a rectangular plaza surrounded by the ruins of several important ancient government buildings at the centre of the city of Rome. The Forum was the venue for commerce, politics, trials, gladiator combat, and a place to meet. It's been referred to as the most celebrated meeting place in the world. The Forum sits in the valley between the Palatine and Capitoline hills. It's a sprawling collection of ancient buildings, architectural fragments, and archaeological excavations. It attracts 4.5 million visitors yearly. There are 3 arches remaining today in the Forum. They celebrate the great victories of emperors. Located in the southeast of the Forum is the Arch of Titus. This is the oldest, being erected by his brother Domitian in 81 to commemorate the victories of his father, the Aspian, and brother Titus in their Jewish wars in Judea, when the great city of Jerusalem was sacked and the vast riches of its temple plundered. The arch's decorative relief panels show the triumphant procession carrying booty from the Temple of Jerusalem, and Titus riding a 4-horse chariot and being crowned by a personification of victory. The goddess Roma stands in front holding the bridle of one of the horses. At the northern end of the Forum, just in front of the Colosseum, is the Arch of Constantine, erected in 315 AD to celebrate Constantine's rise to power. This became the starting point of all future triumphant entries by emperors. Not too far from Titus's Arch and behind the Victory Manual Monument is the Carceri Marmerinto prison. According to legend, the apostles Peter and Paul were imprisoned here. You can spend a full day in the Forum. There is so many interesting ruins, excavations, churches and other buildings you can go into. A very exciting place to visit. One of the most important monuments in the Forum is Trajan's Column. It's almost 40 metres high. Its spiral details the history of Rome's defeat of the Dacians. Originally, more than 2,500 figures of the column were decorated with bright colours, making it look even more magnificent. More than 50 of the figures depicted Trajan, the architect of the Roman people's victory over the Dacians. The statue of St. Peter sits on top of Trajan's Column. The statue was installed in 1588 by Pope Sixtus V, replacing the original gold-covered statue of Emperor Trajan.
Now we're passing the aqueduct, originally built by Claudius in 52 AD and then extended by Domitian to bring the water up onto the Palatine where he had his palace, which we're going to see in a few moments. And up on the left is the Church of St. Gregory. He is the one who sent Augustine to convert England to Christianity. There's the holy stairs, it's all covered up, they're restoring it. This is the baptistry of Constantine. And Constantine, at the time, was when they did the full immersion. So there was a big, is the area known as Trastevere. When we get to this bridge, it's called after Garibaldi. And on the other side of the bridge is the house of Dante.
Yeah.
Tomorrow in St. Peter's, Paul V was from the Borghese family. We saw his domain earlier at the very beginning of our panoramic tour.
As we cross the Tiber to the right is Castel Sant'Angelo, often known as Hadrian's Mausoleum. It took a morning to explore this towering rotunda. The castle was initially commissioned by Roman Emperor Hadrian as a mausoleum for himself and his family. The popes later used the building as a fortress and castle, and it is now a museum. The structure was once the tallest building in Rome. The tower is an interesting place to visit. It's also particularly great for the views that you get of the city and of the River Tiber that flows 400 kilometres from the north. And you'll also get some great views of St. Peter's in the Vatican City. St. Peter's Basilica is one very impressive large building with lavish decorations. The building started in 1506. It's 220 metres long, 137 metres high. It was completed in 1626. The construction of St. Peter's was funded in part by the sale of indulgences, the practice of reducing one's time in purgatory by payment. This practice led to an uprising led by Martin Luther and the Protestant Reformation. The Council of Trent addressed the abuse of indulgences and implemented reforms to regulate their sale. Next door to St. Peter's is the Vatican Museum. This is a must-go place. The museum is a myriad of exhibition halls and galleries. The oldest exhibits date back 5 centuries. The museum curators have amassed an astonishing collection of artefacts from ancient tablets, Egyptian mummies, fabulous ceramics, sculptures, paintings, manuscripts and religious art. Even the corridors are covered in masterpieces. The museum is so big that it's hard to do it justice in one day. So what are the must-sees? Here are some suggestions. The first suggestion, surprisingly, is a modern art bronze sphere from Arnaldo Pomodoro in the Pinecone Courtyard, maybe one of the most photographed things in the Vatican Museum. Next, the Belvedere torso. The torso is highly admired in the Renaissance for its powerful modelling, becoming an object of artists' inspiration and veneration. It served as a model for many of Michelangelo's figures in the Sistine Chapel. The Tapestry Hall. They are from the 16th and 17th centuries. Check out the Resurrection of Christ tapestry. Notice how his eyes follow you as you walk past. Our next must-see is the Rotunda Room and Porphyry Basin. The Rotunda Room is modelled after the Pantheon. The Porphyry Basin in the centre of the room is impressive. How did the Romans transport this extremely heavy piece of lava 2,000 years ago all the way from Egypt to Rome for Emperor Nero's palace? The Maps Room is a stunning area. The ceilings of the Map Room is a masterpiece in itself. One of the strangest sculptures in the Vatican Museum is that of Artemis, or Diana of Ephesus. The abundance of what appears to be breasts turns out to be bull testicles, attributing to her role as a Greek goddess of fertility. She was greatly revered by the Romans. We continue now into the papal apartments. At one time, popes lived here in what is now the Vatican Museum. The two most spectacular of these are the Borghi apartment and the Raphael rooms. Raphael's paintings are highly regarded and up there with Michelangelo's paintings in the Sistine Chapel. And of course, no visit to the Vatican Museum would be complete without the Sistine Chapel. It's at the very end of the museum, you won't miss it. I think the most famous part of the Sistine Chapel is a series of paintings by Michelangelo on the ceiling. There are 9 scenes from the book of Genesis, and the most famous painting in this series, perhaps one of the most iconic paintings in the world, is the creation of Adam. As you depart the museum, you'll experience an amazing spiral staircase. It's a double helix. It's composed of 2 staircases which theoretically allow people to travel both up and down without crossing each other. In practice, it's only for going out, which means you're going down the staircase. The Spanish Steps for many years were one of Rome's favourite places to hang out. Sitting on the Spanish Steps was banned after the area underwent a major clean and restoration in 2016. It was built in 1723 to connect the Spanish embassy with the Holy See and Spanish Square below. A very popular people place in Rome is the Trevi Fountain. It was designed by Nicola Salvio and completed by Giuseppe Penni in 1762. According to legend, those who toss coins into its waters will return to Rome. The fountain is located in Rome's Trevi district, abutting the Palazzo Poli. You can buy some great gelati ice cream nearby. The Parthenon is a former Roman temple. Since AD 609, a Catholic church, it was built on the site of the earlier temple commissioned by Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa during the reign of Augustus 27 BC. Then, after the original burnt down, the present building was ordered by the Emperor Hadrian and probably dedicated in 126. The standout feature of the building is its coffered concrete dome with a central opening to the sky. Almost 2,000 years after it was built, the Pantheon's dome is still the world's largest unreinforced concrete dome. It is one of the best preserved of all ancient Roman buildings, in large part because it has been in continuous use throughout its history. If you want to witness an ancient pilgrim site, then you need to visit the Scala Sancta steps. The steps are found in the Church of St. Lorenz, which is just to the left and behind St. Lateran. They are revered because of the tradition that these were the stairs Jesus went up to meet Pontius Pilate. Tradition says that in 326 AD the staircase was transported from Jerusalem to Rome by the Praetorium of Pilate at the request of St. Helena, mother of Emperor Constantine. Martin Luther, who led the Protestant Reformation, who was unsurprisingly sceptical, climbed the steps in the required manner in 1510. While doing so, he repeated the Lord's Prayer on every step so that he could redeem a soul from purgatory. When he reached the top, he made his doubts known by saying, "Who knows whether this is true?" We finish our tour of Rome with 3 beautiful churches. Just near Santa Scala steps is the Basilica of St. John Lateran, the highest ranking and oldest among the great papal basilicas of Rome, as well as the oldest public church in Rome, having been consecrated in 324 by Pope Sylvester I. Though it is outside the Vatican City proper, it is nonetheless belongs to the Holy See. In this church are some very large sculptures of the apostles. Next we visit the Basilica of St. Pietro in Vincoli, or known as St. Peter in Chains. It was built in the 5th century to house the chains with which St. Peter was imprisoned in Jerusalem. The church is also known for its famous sculpture of Michelangelo's Moses. Our final church is one of my favourites. The Papal Basilica of St. Paul outside the wall is one of Rome's 4 major papal basilicas. It lies within the Italian territory, but the Holy See owns the basilica and is part of the Vatican's extraordinary territory. The basilica was founded by the Roman Emperor Constantine I over the burial place of Paul of Tarsus, where it was said that after the apostle's execution, his followers erected a memorial. This first basilica was consecrated by Pope Sylvester in 324. It's been a pleasure to bring to you this summary of Rome. We hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to give us a thumbs up and subscribe, we'd appreciate that